And a pig will kill you and eat you. So
I just spit out everything.
Well, see, this is the thing being in Britain, right? Is like because the Brits, in many ways, we are a woodland animal. Like we're not, because in Britain, like damn near every animal. Like, I'm scared of badgers, right? And badgers are like, what, maybe 2 or 3 foot long. Because most animals in Britain will either run away from you or you can step on.
yeah,
Like we're not under threat. Like there's no mountain lions, there's no bears,
right.
there's no moose, there's nothing. There's no bison. There's nothing unpredictable except a badger. Like I was on a run about a month ago, and there was a dead badger, like clearly dead, like on its back. And I saw this thing by the side of the road, and I'm there going, like, "Oh, that's what it would do if it was about to attack." Like, that's what I'd do. I'd lie on my back and make this innocent runner think I was dead, and then I give it like a 10-foot berth. Like I'm so weary of this thing, and on the way back, it was still there on the way back, and I was so scared. And it was like been dead for a while, right? Like it had started to inflate, and I'm still sitting there going like, Jesus. In fact, it was really inflated. It looked like the frog at the end of Shrek, where he blows it up. They blow it up and make balloons out of it. That is honestly what that fucking thing reminded me of. But yeah, we're terrible with animals because we have no threats from the animal kingdom.
Right. It was Britain. I just read Watership Down. So I mean that's written about rabbits.
Right.
And they talk about it's very serious for rabbits. I mean, like what do they say? Like a dog,
No,
maybe a fox.
There are English teachers that are going to listen to this and go, how? I teach this to my students. How the ever-loving fuck did they go from talking about being scared of animals and running to Watership Down?
I'm talking to everybody about this book because apparently it's one of the best-selling books of all time. Nobody's ever read it. I've talked to one person who's read it. It's sold 75 million copies. I haven't met any of them.
I haven't read it. I haven't read Watership Down.
I've read it. I didn't know English for forever, and that was one of the books that I had to read as a kid.
That's what they gave you to learn English.
Yeah. They're like, we don't know what's in there.
That's a big book. I mean, to just be learning English.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I was. My mother used to make me copy. So when I was at Benny, I didn't speak English when I came to the States, obviously, and to learn English, my mom used to make me copy out excerpts from college textbooks because my dad was a professor at the university in
Okay.
Wait. How old were you?
I was like 6 or 7. I don't like I was
Okay. Okay. I was imagining you were like 15.
No. That's right.
It down.
Yeah. I was.
This is why you're so like disappointed in yourself. This is why you don't think you've come far. That's what it is. You are a remarkably successful man, and the reason you undersell yourself so much is because your mother made you read college textbooks at 6. So you're there at 6 going, I'm an idiot. I don't understand advanced calculus. Now it makes sense. I don't understand what are concentric heat currents in the Earth's mantle. I don't understand this. While I'm reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
I don't know about all that, but you may be onto something. Yes, you're correct. You may be onto something. This is the worst introduction I think we've done, ever, but I think it is the most appropriate.
Are you joking? I'm sitting there thinking this is the best.
Welcome, Derek Smith, one of my favorite people, just not just in comedy, but just people, which is, if you know me well, is a big statement because I do not like most things or people. So Derek Smith, you big, lovable, giant goof, welcome. Welcome to Raisin Bread. Yeah. How you been, buddy?
I've been fair. I mean, I'm, slightly above poor.
Right. It's good.
Okay. One time I was working a job and we got like a comment card back. and they said, "How do you rate this?" And it was like 0 to 10, and then on one side on the 0 it said poor, and then it said perfect, and they had circled just the word poor below 0. That's how I did.
Okay.
But I'm not doing that bad right now.
Good. That's
I mean,
fantastic.
yeah. So basically, not that. Then it's amazing, right?
That is, you're like me. When people ask me how I'm doing, I just say everything from the neck down works, and that's
Yeah.
the end. It's the end of that conversation. So,
How are you guys doing? What are you guys been doing?
Good, man. Just doing this podcast thing. I mean, before we get into it, I just want to let people know. If you don't know who Derek Smith is, everyone calls him the best kept. Well, I think they probably still call you that. The best kept secret in Chicago. He's not based in Chicago anymore. But when I spoiler alert, when I was there though, and trying to be a stand-up comedian, I mean, this guy was like, he knocked it out of the park every single time, and he's someone I look up to both as a comic or as a former comic, and just as a person, because there's not a lot of nice people in entertainment. And not a lot of nice people in comedy. And
no.
And Derek is one of those few people, and he's insanely funny. I used to call you White Dwayne Kennedy, is what I used to call you.
That means nothing to me.
Let me explain it real quick. Dwayne Kennedy is called the most famous comic you've never heard of. He's very good. He was in Seinfeld, or he had a spot in Seinfeld. He writes for like all kinds of people. Dwayne will be like half naked, sort of mowing his sister's lawn in Southside one week, and then in the next week he'll be in LA, right, writing for someone famous.
Yeah.
So that's whom Derek is to me. He's white.
I helped Dwayne try to record an album for like a week. I spent every night for like a week going and seeing him at the Zanies, and he opened up this show every way. He's like, I used to write for the Arsenio Hall show until it got canceled, and but before that, I was writing for the Orlando Jones show until it got canceled, and I was working for politically. I was working with W. Kamau Bell on his show until it got canceled. So what I'm saying is if you have a TV show that you're sick of doing, maybe we can work something out.
That is.
He does it much better, but goddamn, he's so funny.
He's good. You know what's funny? Dwayne is part of the reason I started comedy. Like I saw his comedy so I was really stubborn about learning English. We were talking earlier about me learning English. I had a horrific time learning English. And people don't believe
you're doing great, by the way.
Thank you. Well, it's I've been practicing for a while now, and I was just struggled with it. And one of the things that actually made me interested in English language was comedy, and it was specifically Dwayne's set on Comedy Central that he did, and he did the Green Lantern joke, and I was like, you can make jokes about the Green Lantern? Like that, it had never occurred to me in my head before. So yeah. And then my first day in Chicago, for literally get off the plane, it's day 2. I'm in the back of the car just staring at this guy's dreadlocks, and I'm like, I know these dreads. I've seen these dreads before. And then I go home and realize I was in the car with Dwayne Kennedy. One of the reasons why I started comedy. I never told him this, and I never will. And hopefully he never watches this, but yeah.
But no, that's a really good point.
That you don't.
Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
I want Dwayne to watch this. I want everybody to watch this. Baz, you should want people to watch this. Don't just cut people out.
Right.
I want everyone except for Dwayne to watch this, right? So that they don't, experience.
So Dwayne, if you are watching, please
Stop.
do Baz the courtesy and turn it off.
Be respectful,
turn it off,
please.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for listening up to now, but turn it off.
Right. Yeah. Go away.
No, but that's really interesting to hear you say that about your motivation was learning English, because it is true. like when I was learning French, for example, the time when I knew that I could speak it to a good level was when you could start making jokes in that language. Like when I was on holiday in France, and you that was when you understood the going deeper than just the words and the surface level of the language, when you actually understand how that country, that culture communicate, the cadence they use, the timing they use. That was when I really realized that you got a grasp on it, because that's something that you notice about comics is they're very well, a lot of them are very skilled linguistically.
Yeah. Did you have any comics like that like inspired you, or like I think I know who your favorite comic is, but I still want to hear you say it anyways.
Me or Ben?
You, Derek.
Oh, okay. I think the best comic is still Richard Pryor. Like he is still. I sat down one day and I was like, I'm gonna listen to Richard Pryor. And
I didn't say who the best comic is. I asked who's your favorite comic, Derek.
My favorite comic. Oh man,
he's clever.
So
it can still be. Don't let him bully you. It can still be Richard Pryor.
Wait,
Richard Pryor.
Wait, Ben. Don't let this aw shucks Midwestern nonsense fool you. He's sharp. He's fucking sharp. Don't let that aw shucks, the fucking fried chicken foghorn leghorn bullshit. Don't let that fool you. He's fucking sharp. And he does it, and he's smooth about it too. So sorry.
Giving away all the fun. Like
I'm warning my co-host. I'm protecting from your brilliant. He's a brilliant guy.
No. Fucking Derek, set the trap.
Yeah.
If I get duped by Midwestern slowness, which is being used to mask comedic sharpness, then
it's more than
it's my funeral.
Sharpness. It's more than that. But yeah, go on.
Okay.
I guess. Oh man, like who's my favorite comic? Everybody has their own thing. Like who was somebody I listened to really early on? Was my sister made me watch Eddie Murphy Delirious, which is amazing. Just
Derek,
except for that,
who's your
really
favorite comic?
10 minutes at the beginning. I will say that I don't think it ages very well. But the cookout stuff, pretty nice.
Great. Yeah. Who's your favorite comic, Derek Smith?
All right.
So this might be an unfair question, because if someone asked me that, I'd be like, there's a couple I really, really like. But if there's one you just go back to again and again and again, you can say their name.
Let's capture this moment in time of the moment, your favorite comic.
Yeah.
Favorite comic of the moment. Well, shit. I've been watching a lot of Philomena Kunk lately.
Okay.
I just found out about that.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
This
is what you're talking about. This is that Midwestern charm. He's just doing this to fucking knead me like dough. I see you, because Philomena Kunk is an obscure British character played by Diane Morgan.
Yeah. I was watching her on Would I Lie to You, and she said she broke up with a man because she didn't like the way he fell downstairs.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Didn't like. God damn.
Do you want me to say it?
You
Kyle
say
Kyle Kinane.
Because you're probably thinking of it, and I'm not going to get to it. What?
Yeah. Well, do you want me not to?
No.
We can cut it out. He's a big Cosby fan, but everyone hates Cosby now, right? And
yeah. I mean, I grew up. I loved Cosby. And he's an amazing comedian.
He is
terrible. I like him on stage as opposed to him off stage. That's where I find that the worst of what he does is happens off stage.
I don't think that's a sentiment limited to Bill Cosby.
Right.
Like with a lot.
Yeah.
Different reasons.
Did I ever tell you a story about God? I think I was at South by Southwest. Was it Robert Klein? Robert Klein
Oh yeah.
was there, and he walked up
Mhm.
to me. He had no idea who I was. I was just some young scrub, and he was like, "I knew that motherfucker was up to something." And he pointed to the TV show or to the TV, and it was Bill Cosby on trial, and it made me laugh. And if you don't know who Robert Klein is, he is a contemporary of Cosby's, but it was just funny to see that rage like still in him. Like he's like, I knew it. And he was drunk off his ass. So, but anyways,
Yeah.
it was just very
I love
funny.
that the comedian is just walking around the world and he assumes the entire world is still his audience. I knew it the whole time.
If someone just bothered to ask Robert Klein, what do you think Bill Cosby's up
Yeah.
to? He's like, let me tell you something about Bill Cosby. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Here's the fucked up thing. Okay, if he knew, why didn't he say anything? Like, I mean, it's easy to say it now. I
Exactly.
No, that's a Cosby. That's a Cosby fan right there. That's you're fucking Klein. We playing it. Yeah, coming at my boy. Say something. If you've got something to say it.
Save me this embarrassment before I get into it.
Easy to coach from the sidelines.
Yeah. Oh, I knew your girlfriend was cheating on you. Oh, thanks. Thanks for telling me. Make me look like a fucking idiot. Oh, great.
Isn't there a clip of Chris Rock where somebody's like, yeah, we all saw he was going to come up to slap you, and he was just like there's like his face. Is there something like that? I don't remember if it was on Instagram or something.
I'm sure. Yeah. If anybody does say that, and like, why didn't you stop him? Why'd you let him do that to me?
What are your thoughts on that? But what if like you're a giant and are formidable.
How tall are you, Derek?
I'm about 6'3". So yeah.
You're taller than that. No, you're taller than that. No, because you're taller than me, like by a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Not you've got to be taller than that. But yeah.
Okay. That was the last time
you measured.
Yeah. And I'm also like one time I was like 320 pounds, but then I've gone back down to 200. I'm very elastic in my size, but I think I'm honest. I feel like they should have just taken Will Smith's Oscar away and be like, yeah, we don't give that to you. Fuck you. Like that was such a shitty thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was like when Khabib attacked Conor McGregor's teammates after a fight.
That's weird.
Dana White wouldn't put the belt on him.
Yeah.
Like, because he was like, oh, this is going to cause a ruckus. And that was after an actual fight. And yeah, like you say, Will Smith just gets free reign to go slap somebody and then apologize to everyone except the guy he slapped in his Oscar acceptance speech, which is almost worse than the slap.
Yeah. It's terrible.
What would you do if you got slapped? The giant that you fucking are.
I don't know. I mean, I could see it going like just shocked and just moving forward, not knowing what to do. I could also see making it just really weird and like just cry and then just not like let anybody take me away and just like have that moment like, is this what you wanted? You want to do that to me right now? Everybody's watching. Where do you think you would do it?
And then would you cap it off with like a kind of, your wife's still bald though?
Yeah.
Like just to see if he'd do it again.
Yeah, I'm bald. We're bald. I can do that joke because I'm bald. I don't know. I mean, it just breezed by so fast.
I don't think
like,
anyone would.
When Draymond Green punched his teammate, I was like, oh, they should send him to fucking Charlotte, the Hornets. Like that should be a punishment. You have to go to the shittiest team in the league. You have to go to that embarrassment of the team forever now. That's what you have to do. Sorry. I feel like if you punch your teammate and then all of a sudden you got traded to Charlotte, nobody would fucking punch their teammate. No, not going there.
So you're saying that we just need to set one example,
right? Yeah, it's got to be a good one. You know, you send something, you're like, ooh. Like,
he went to Charlotte. Did you hear what happened to Draymond? They sent him to the Hornets. The Hornets. Yeah. What?
Oh man,
no one deserves that. Yeah,
he's never gonna get.
He's not
ring.
Put his rosary beads down since.
Why did you stop?
Because I originally started with like 4 other people, and we would record. We did daily podcasts.
Wow.
Before I moved to Chicago, so it was like 2007.
Don't give him ideas.
And it was our friend works at a radio station, and we could sneak in at night and record.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so we would record a bunch of these, and it was not a good idea because this was before iPhones, and people could listen to podcasts. You had to download it, put it onto an iPod, and take it with you. Didn't work very well.
I mean, if you kept at it.
Yeah. I mean, we did some stuff, but then I moved, and it was like, I'm going to do this all by myself.
Yeah, you're like, I'm part of the Lincoln Lodge.
Right.
Where Hannibal Buress, Kyle Kinane, Kumail Nanjiani, to name a few, came out of. I'm gonna blow past these idiots. I don't need you guys anymore. That's not what you thought, but no.
No. But also, you were talking about this right before my fucking computer just decided to turn off, but not turn off over and over again. ADD. I have ADD.
By the way, the fact that I said, "Oh yeah, he's really brilliant," but you and I have these moments where our ADD shows up, and the moment's gone. The respect that anyone might have had for us and your computer.
This is another thing where Americans, you have a lot to answer for, because like with the overdiagnosis stuff. Like, I don't know what I have. I've never been for any of these tests. I feel really left out. No, I don't get any fucking acronyms. I've got no acronyms.
Okay.
And how do you know? Wait, ADD. That's the one. That's the one without. That's attention deficit disorder, but I'm not hyperactive, right? That's ADD.
Right. I'm not. Yeah.
So like you lose attention and you're lazy. Is that what ADD is?
Right. That's it. That's what it looks like. But
that's what it looks like.
It's exactly what it looks like. But
I love this guy.
I think the acronym is not very good. It's an attention imbalance. You just have some things you have no attention for at all. You cannot fucking do it. And then some things you can spend way too much time. way too much. Like,
do you remember when we called that having passions?
Right, but it's like passion for finding the cheapest printer ink at 2 a.m, and then it's gone. You will just you eventually you realize I don't need printer ink right now, and the prices are probably going to change. So me going to like 10 different places was a bad idea.
It's been at least, we've been talking to him for a half hour. We had all these questions we wanted to ask him, but you've made us laugh. You made us laugh for 30 minutes, and for that entire time. And it's really hard to do that in comedy. I don't think people understand how hard it is to make people laugh. At least for me, the way I worked was, and I didn't really achieve this till later. And then by that time, I quit it. I already quit. But like writing jokes that will make everyone laugh, like every type of person laugh, that's really, really hard. Or writing just jokes that in general that you're like, yeah, this is definitely gonna, maybe it's not gonna work 100% of the time, but like 70 to 80% of the time, like this is gonna work. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how hard is it to make a good 10 minutes?
I mean, it's okay. Well, I've been thinking about that a lot, and okay, there are like, because it is so hard, because one, you have to come up with like an idea that people connect to, so that you don't have to spend a long time explaining everything. You can quickly get into, and everybody can follow you. Like, I learned that from working at the Blackout Diaries. A lot of it was
shout out to the
true
Blackout
drinking
Diaries.
stories. Yeah. I would watch the people, and drunk stories are great if you've been to the place where that story took place. Otherwise, you cannot follow what happened. It's like somebody describing a nightmare where it's just there's no place.
Yeah.
So it, like, whenever I would do my stories, I would put up a map so that people could follow where I am in space, and that helps a lot. So if you're just on stage with no map, you gotta find a way to be like, we've all had sex, and then everybody can just fill in that stuff.
Right.
So finding those things, and then also being funny is kind of being dark, and you got to give it the right energy, or it gets scary. Like, there was a really good friend. They used to do this joke about how she gave a blowjob, which is everybody's done. But she gave that blowjob in a graveyard at night. And that story can be either super, super funny or really alarming for the audience. So if she is not having a great time and laughing, if she's just a little bit tired or maybe like a little bit sick, when she says, that time that pedicab guy I gave him a spooky blowjob in the graveyard, everybody's like, do you need help? Like, do you need to get out of this situation? But otherwise, everybody's like, the spooky blowjob is the funniest thing. So it's so hard because it's not just the material, it's also giving it in that moment. You got to fucking match that audience, and you can't be too over energetic. Yeah, it's hard.
You can't be too over energetic, or what?
I mean, it can like, I feel like you can jump on, you could sell it too much, and that also pushes people back. You gotta like, it sounds creepy. You gotta,
well, it's also,
you gotta pull them in. You gotta come in.
Sure.
Tell you a joke. But
and then as you're ascending through the ranks in comedy, like on the open mic scene, and you get allocated more time, because it was like, for example, I remember my friends, and this is a question that I do want to put to you, Derek, is like, what made you get up? What made you do it in the first place? So like when my friends were like, oh yeah, you should try it, and then I did, when they would come to see, they would be like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to be like that, because they found me funny when I was angry. And then on stage they're going like, oh, you weren't angry, you're actually quite smiley, and you seemed like quite amiable. What happened? And it was just like, well, because you get 5 minutes and no one's ever heard of you. Anger, you find me funny when I'm angry because you know me.
Exactly.
You know the premise, you know who I am. So you know that, this is what Ben does. I have 5 minutes to explain to the audience what I'm angry about, why I'm angry about it, why you should be angry about it too, and then I tell the story. And I've got to, first of all, I've got to hope that you are angry about it too. Like if I'm getting really angry about, like in the previous episode, about how Megan Thee Stallion just abuses Shakespearean English, someone needs to also, if they don't give a shit about grammar, they're not on my level at all. But I wanted to ask you, what? Because it's always a fascinating question for comics. What made you get up? What made you do it in the first place?
I had a fight with my girlfriend at the time, and my friend was like, hey, since you're not doing anything tonight because you guys are fighting, you want to come to a comedy show? And I was like, of course, yes, that's everything I wanted to do. And I went, and I was like, I think I could do that. Like, I just
Right.
paid $25 to watch that, and I was like, I bet I would do things differently, and so I dropped out of school the next day and sold my books to get my money back, and I went up to an open
Is
mic.
this the University of Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay.
I left. Dropped out of OU, and then I went to open mic. Here's the thing about ADD, Ben. When you were getting ready to go to your first one, did you like write material to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a great idea. That would have been a great idea. I got all the steps except for writing any material whatsoever. Dropped out of school. I'm there on time, signed up, going first. Hadn't written anything down.
Oh, terrible.
And I did the worst 6 minutes of comedy I think anybody has ever done. I danced. I just told a long story. I blew the light by 2.5 minutes.
For anyone who doesn't know, yeah,
they're waving at me, but I was looking down because I didn't touch the microphone. And the guy before me, the host, was like 5 inches shorter, so I was looking down like this, and then my arms started shaking and my legs started shaking. So I'm just shaking, telling a story that nobody is understanding. And then the MC had to come on stage, like clapping really loud, and he was like, "Hey, everybody, give it up for Derek!" He grabs the microphone and goes, "Get the fuck off the stage now." I was like, "Oh yeah," and I left, and I was like,
"Oh man,
I could do better than that. I could do way better than that." So I was hooked.
Just for anyone in the audience who hasn't done it or been to an open mic or anything like that, they wave like they'll get their phone out and they'll wave the flashlight at you to signal to you, like usually that you've got a minute left, like start closing up, start wrapping up. And like the other thing is, to give you an idea, when Derek says he overran that by 2.5 minutes, that's about 50% of the allotted time.
Yeah.
That
It was 4 minutes.
That he ran over again.
Yeah, exactly. You knew exactly how much. I walked out, and then the owner of the club just said, "You went way over." Like, I'm the first comic of the night, so we're 7-8 minutes into the show. I've already fucked the whole show up.
But right, I really want to do a round table on this now. Baz, your first gig, what? Talk us through
like
it.
Paid gig or
first
just,
time
or
you
just
ever got
open
up?
Mic?
Open mic, first ever open mic. First time you ever got up on stage.
So I did one of the toughest open mics, literally in the Midwest, or what was known at the time as that. And it was at this famous bar in Denver, Colorado, whose name I'm forgetting. But there are articles about this place because there are people.
Oh,
Sam Talent.
I've heard of.
Yeah.
I've heard of that one. Wait, Sam ran that?
Sam Talent used to run that open mic.
Fuck.
Way back in the day. Yeah, way back in the day. So like people will throw like chairs at each other. Like if you're set, like it's not a gentle place. But I went up last. Was it called the Lion's Lair? No, it's something I forget. Anyways,
that's fate, because my first one was at a place called the Lion's Den.
Chicago.
Amazing.
They used to have the Lion's Den before the lodge. It was a Lion's Den. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, you told me that actually. That's a lot of lions. What is it with the lions? And
it was run by a British guy, Mark.
Okay. Interesting. Mark. Oh yeah, Mark's. I forget Mark's English. Yeah, that's crazy. Mark, if you don't know who Mark is, he still runs the Lincoln Lodge, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so Mark runs the Lincoln Lodge and is really great at picking out incredibly funny people like Derek. If you don't know who the Lincoln Lodge is, honestly, the only reason why I ever probably took interest, this is a quick aside, like go check them out. They're amazing. The only reason why I did comedy at all was because of them. And like most of the people, I mean, most of their alumnus are like just my heroes, comedic heroes. So go check them out. And shout out to the lodge. Some great people there. Shout out to Ricky Gonzalez if he's still out there. But yeah, I was at the Lion's Lair. and they put me up last, and it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I got I got 5 seconds out of it actually. Yeah. But it wasn't like great. Like I was a first. No one's seen me before. You know how comics are, right? Like no one's listening.
Mm-hmm.
But the last like 10, 15 or 20 seconds was probably maybe 20 seconds. I remember I got someone and they were holding on to it. And that was enough for me to be like, let me try this again. So,
yeah. So you did well, and you were like, let's build on this success.
Well, in the way that who's that comic who says comedy is you convincing yourself that things that they're going well when they are most certainly not. I don't know who said. Like I don't know who it is, but someone says that, and that's what it was, because it was quiet most of the time because no one was paying attention. But it went well in the sense that I got something out of it. That's all. Yeah.
All right. That's okay. I understand that. What about Ben? What was your first time?
Yeah, like because I'm not proper like you guys. Like I've done. I actually don't know the number. Somewhere between 50 and 100. I don't think I ever got to 100, but like it was. Yeah, I remember making a point when I hit 50 times on stage, and it was like the first time. It was a lot of things of like. It's funny that you should say that you had an argument with your girlfriend, because there's a friend of mine who was there at the first gig I ever did, and I was 19, and it was like, and I just went down because I'd loved comedy like from as long as I could remember, right? Like my dad used to we used to drive across France when I was a kid, and my dad would buy comedy CDs and listen to them. And like one of them was Al Murray, who's a character comic who talks about British politics. And I was actually learning about the British political system at 8 through Al Murray satirizing it. And I had no idea how. I didn't know. I just saw my dad's reaction, and he was laughing so much I thought we were going to crash. And I was like, "Wow, I really want a piece of that. I want to be able to do that." And it was like, and then I don't know, like you have enough people massage your ego, and they go like, "Yeah, you should try it," and then you do, and then kind of similar to Baz. So I went to a place called the Lion's Den in Soho, where you had to pay to perform.
Oh, so it's like New York. Yeah.
Right. And I thought that was then normal, that you had to pay to perform. And then I went in, like you go downstairs and it feels like something out of a movie, right? Because you're in the city and it's like, and I wasn't raised in the big city. I wasn't raised in London. So you're in the big city, you go downstairs, this little like kind of smoky club. And then you see the stage and it's sort of dimly lit. And it's like, oh, this is what you see in like the movies where the protagonist makes it. And then I went up, and it was remarkably, there was probably about 40 people, which is quite good for a Tuesday night comedy great. Open mic comedy show, right? And so I'm sitting there and again, no, but it was good and kind of not good. So I went up and I'd written like iterations of this bit. I knew I had 5 minutes. I really wanted to like try, and then you got so and I made a point of not wanting to bring my notebook.
So smart. All of these things, you're right. You were right to do all these things.
But I made a point of not bringing my notebook with me, right? Because I just didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. But to link it back to your point about having an argument with your girlfriend, I walked in and I know I still look young now, but I looked a lot younger then, right? Like I don't even think I had any follicles on my chin. And so I walk in, and this guy goes, "Oh, so what? When did she break up with you?" Like, that was his opening question, and I went like, "What's your name?" And he was like, "Will," and I was like, "Why did you ask me that, Will?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, like that's why most of us are here, isn't it? Like trying to deal with bereavement in one form or another." Yeah, and he's not wrong. And but then the trouble is, I went up, and it didn't go. It didn't go like. I'm probably looking at it through rose-tinted glasses because I'm comparing it to the second time I went up. But it felt like it went really well, and it was in front of a reasonably sized room. And so I was sitting there, like I came off afterwards. I was like, the world has been waiting. I have arrived. And then I went back the next week and then was like, do you know what? I'm so good that I'm going to do different material now. Like, I'm not going to work on that. That's old news. I know that fucking murders. So I'm going to talk about something else, and died on my ass.
Yep.
Like, I was so,
Yeah.
it was visceral. Like, and it was sitting there, and your blood pressure goes up, and you're sweating, and it's like, oh God, it's hot in here. And oh, why is it so hot? It wasn't hot this time last week. And then like you come off afterwards, like, oh, that's actually, and it was in front of 8 people who were all other comedians who were far better and more jaded than me.
Oh,
And so they're gone.
oh yeah. I mean, you're performing to 8 comedians. They're inside. Yeah. They're watching you like hipsters watch a band. They're just like,
right.
I see what he's doing there. Very good.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get laughter. You get this noise of appreciation and acknowledgement, maybe. But like, and then because the other thing is like I remember when I first joined. Like, there's a very famous comedian in the UK, Michael McIntyre. He's never really made it to the States, but a lot of British comics don't. They don't transfer in the same way. But he's like a household name over here. He's massive. He's the comedian. Yeah. And he's great. And he was who I grew up kind of watching, like when I was sort of like 12 or 13, and I just couldn't believe it that this guy was talking about everyday stuff and that was his job and everyone loved him. And then I joined the open mic circuit and everyone's just bad-mouthing him. And then you realize that when you get a bit more seasoned, that this is just jadedness and envy that this man, because it's not real comedy, because he's not, the argument there being that he's not pushing any envelope. He is just doing observational stuff that everyone can relate to. And so I then go through.
Wait. That was the critique?
Absolutely, that was the critique.
Yeah, he's doing all that good material. Yeah, that's not where we're into. We're into that more of the hard stuff.
But then you go through this dip when you're new to the scene. You then go through this dip of like, yeah, I should be doing that stuff. And then you realize like, no, that's where the fucking skill is in the taking things that everyone experiences. Because, the other thing was like the other critique is, oh, it's been done to death. Mm. And it's like, so he's flogging a dead horse has been done to death. It's like, yeah, but he's getting people to laugh with a new angle on it.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable skill.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, he sells spoons. And you're like, yeah, he can sell a spoon. Like, he's that fucking good that he's not even
to people who already have a spoon.
Yeah.
And he can sell them another spoon.
Yeah. He is the knife salesman who comes up and the person just buys all new knives. I've got a whole shitload of knives, all new knives, because he's that good. He's that good.
Is it because he's funny, or do you think it's because he's interesting when stuff like that happens? I always think about like that distinction with comics sometimes, because there's a lot of funny comics, right? There's a lot of funny dudes. And I always wonder, like, is the reason why some take off because they're interesting, and why some who don't, like, there are the comics I think are incredible. I mean, you know how I feel about you. Like I don't know what's the calculus is. What do you think?
I think there's like a little bit of it is like being able to do the job. You have to be able to go on stage and do good enough, and then there's everything else is comedy is a business, and correct. If you're not fucking good at business, you're probably not going to make it very far in comedy unless you get somebody who loves you and is good at business to make you famous.
Right.
Because if you suck at emails, you're not getting booked because people send emails all the time.
Correct.
And I'm not great at emails, but I am pretty good at texting and just being like free.
No,
and so
not.
People will.
No, you're not.
I just mean like people will text during the day and be like,
right.
Are you free tonight to do 25 minutes? And I'm like, yep, I can do that. I can just, So I end up getting that gig a lot of the, hey, we need a headliner right now. Can you come over? Yeah, I can do that. we're not going to
But that's from the kind of the technical side. What about from the audience's perspective? What do you think about because that's it's a good question, Baz. Interesting versus funny, because obviously there's a lot of overlap, right? Like the Venn diagram of interesting versus funny. there has to be a marriage of the two. But like, what do you think is more salient for somebody sat in the audience?
I actually, there was one time I was like, I've been doing comedy for probably like a year and a half, and like just did a big show. Like you were saying, like you went up your first time, you did new stuff the next time. At the time for like the first year, I only got to go up like every 2 weeks at like one place.
Right.
And I was
Holy
like,
shit.
well, I'm not, last time didn't go great. Let's not waste our time doing that shit again. And every 2 weeks, just a new set, and they are real up and down. And just like literally 1 week, I had family come, and they were like, "You did great. You were so much fun." And then they told my other family to come see me, and they showed up the day before Thanksgiving, and they watched me do a set that my girlfriend drove 3 hours, came into the show, watched me do this one joke that I thought of that day, and she just immediately left. She was like, that was awful. Like, and she drove 3 hours and then left after 5 minutes. What'd you think? Then on
she did a comic's journey.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She did like that, a comic's journey, driving hours and hours just for 5 minutes only to go home again.
Yeah. To be like, for me to tell the joke, like, what was, I think it was, you know, those child safe programs that, you know, I have the same thing, except mine filters out everything that's not hardcore pornography. You know? But I'm jerking off so much, I'm coming blood.
Yeah. Okay. We did, yeah.
That's a tough stain to get out of a tube sock. You know, it just kept getting worse. And I think I had announced my family was there right at the beginning. So it was like my cousins and stuff. And then on Thanksgiving, everybody was like, "Did you see Derek? He was really funny." And they were like, yeah. They're thinking they're talking about the same set, but they're not at all. So I made it for like a year and a half of doing that. And then I did start repeating material. And a guy came up to me and goes, "I like you because you talk about things that I can relate to." And I said, yeah, that I never thought of it, but that is a really good idea. And I'm going to try to do that from now on instead of these just random esoteric things. So I try to talk about things, but also talk about the things I want to talk about. Because I also feel like you gotta, people can tell if you're like, "I don't like this bit. I don't like talking about it, but people laugh at it, so I do it." You
really?
know,
Yeah, when people, when you know,
who does that though? Who tells jokes they don't like to?
My friend Brad.
Oh, you must have seen it. Like you see the guy who.
I've seen it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
because they know it's going to do well, and like you fall into the complacency trap.
But
like,
you don't have
you ever done it? Because
you don't have to.
But I've definitely fallen into it. Like where I've gone up thinking that I'm going to do one thing that I wrote that's new, and then the moment I take the mic, I go like, "It's just my first time at this venue. I want to make sure that they think I'm all right enough to invite back."
But didn't you plan all of that before you walked into the venue?
No.
When I walked into the venue, I was going to do new stuff.
Never mind.
I mean, I usually write it down as I'm waiting to go on stage.
No, that I know is true. No. That's not a lie. To anyone listening, I've watched it happen. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I love that. Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah, but he can do it. The rest of you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right?
You can do
material.
it.
Nope.
It just takes 10 years of up and down, and you get a little bit better at picking them out.
Right.
And you still miss. You still miss a lot.
Yeah.
Were you funny at school? Like, were you funny as a kid?
I think I was funny. I wasn't the funniest kid.
Right.
I definitely wasn't. Like, I know that I had friends, like a couple of my best friends, like they're really funny. And now I realize they're just really interesting people. And
here we go.
And they and at that time, the way to be the interesting person was just to be funny. I mean, like they're good at most things. And I watched a lot of stand up, and so like I think I used to do stand up for them in school. I would like redo people's sets and stuff. So I feel like I got like the cadence down and just the rhythm of it down for different people. But which is weird because I'm terrible at rhythm. Like I've tested and I'm not. Well, I mean,
you can nail
what
it.
I'm saying is
comedy.
Like,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Comedy rhythm I can do, but like I got tested to know rhythm memory. It was just like, can you redo a beat or tell if a beat has been changed? And objectively, compared to the rest of the population, I do bad. Like 90% of people are better at it than I am.
I mean, go on.
Oh yeah, I also can't hear pitches very well, and I also have bad memory for melodies. So like I'm not good at music, which oh man, thank God I don't do that. That's too fucking hard. Can you guys do music? Like how does
I mean, what do you mean by do music? Like perform, like play an instrument?
Like, can you sing? Like, man, I would give both my legs to be able to sing.
I used to have this theory that comics want to be rock, want to be musicians, and musicians want to be comics. I don't know if you ever noticed something weird like
that. Which was so dumb for the musician because
exactly. I'm like, what are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing? It's like, hey man, I'm like, I know your band. They're great. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? You're a rock star. What are you doing? It's so infuriating. Like,
you want to talk too? No, why? You have a I know that people used to get really mad at like guitar comics or comics that do music, and I used to be one of them. You know, because I was wildly jealous. I was like, oh, this is so not fair. You know, you get to come in and you show everybody, you just play your guitar, and everybody is immediately impressed. Yep. And I have to come up there with my stupid words and be like, you guys ever had this thing happen to you?
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. There was a girl who was a part of a real well-known band in Denver. It wasn't Esme Patterson. It was someone else. And I remember I saw her writing at an open mic, and I was just, what was her name? I don't know if her name was Rachel. Something. I was just like, we'll call her Rachel. Rachel, what the fuck are you? Like, you're good at a thing. In fact, you're real good at a thing. You're about to sign with someone. You're about to. Is that Austin? They were about to sign with that Austin record label. I don't know if they were going to sign with. They were going to get his. Anyways, maybe it was Verge. They were going to sign. Like, what are you doing here? Like, get out of here. We were talking, Ben, about comics who do music and why that's stupid, and it's way sexier to be a rock star than a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be funny though. Like, I mean, when we're talking about like the open mic days, because they are the funniest from the comedian's perspective, I feel, because like you talked about, Derek, on your first time, you danced, you tried a bit of everything. Like,
that's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I watched a guy go up once with an easel with no canvas, like just an easel, and he was dressed in like almost like a jockey, so he had like high boots, like horse riding boots, like quite like tight sort of legging
shirt
things on. Yeah, right. And then a blazer. And he went up and he would go and he'd mime having a paintbrush, and he went like, and he'd look in the audience and he'd go like, oh, a checked shirt, and then pretend to paint, and then go, oh, a green beret, and then pretend to paint, and then like a few more items of clothing and pretend to paint, and then he just danced with the easel for the rest of his set. Like that was the whole. That was the whole
Chicago
bit for 5
comic.
minutes.
A Chicago comic.
Yeah.
And then but it's like, but then there's that, and then there was another guy who
did that go well?
Well, like it was one of those ones for about, because it was a 5-minute set. It was about, for 2 minutes, everyone was sort of laughing at the novelty, but it was one of those laughs where you could tell that they were expecting that this was a build.
Yeah.
They didn't. Right. Yeah. Crescendo, exactly. And then when it didn't come, it was kind of like every now and again, like, and you get sort of titters. It was like, in school when it was a challenge, who could clap the last, who could get the last clap in. Like, it was a bit like that with the laugh. So like the audience, but it wasn't because people wanted to be the last laugh. They were just sort of trying to keep it positive, because it had started well and they wanted to see something, but then but you see some crazy stuff. Like there was one guy, because this is the other thing as well. Like you mentioned it when, that's a great point. Like you said when you first started that you went up first, and then all the other guys are sat in the wings or in the crowd or wherever they're sat, and they're going like, "Oh God, he's binned it," and we've all got to follow that. Because when you're really new, you think, "Oh, if the guy in front of me bombs, I'm going to go up there and kill it even more." And then you learn like, no, that's not how it goes. This isn't like boxing or something. This is like, they're not my opponents. I need these guys to go well, because otherwise I've got to reawaken the crowd and then do my set.
Yeah, because you are customer service for the audience, and if the fucking person in front of me just went ahead and just basically told you to fuck off, and you're like, all right, and now this guy. Hey,
yeah, because
how's everybody doing?
There's this guy. Well, yeah, because I found, because I really enjoyed emceeing. Right, like it was one of my favorite things to do. Like if I am to go back on stage, that is definitely what I would want to do, is MC, because it's just really fun. And there are times where you feel like
most people,
where you
Americans
go up,
hate MCing. That's really interesting. I liked MCing too. I don't know
really.
why
So
people...
I loved it because it was the essence of why I fell in love with comedy, of like it's here and now, and because you interact with the audience, it's something that's only that evening. Only those people who are there at that time are going to be able to appreciate that. If they filmed it and showed it to their friends, it doesn't have the same effect. They get the best version of it by sitting there and experiencing it, which is something that I really enjoyed. But there was a friend of mine, a guy called Ross Smith, who I believe now is an actor. He doesn't do comedy anymore, which is a shame, because he was a fantastic comedian. And he used to MC at this place called Comedy Virgins in Stockwell in South London a lot, which is a great venue. And there was a guy once who was like sat there, and in the dark, it was going, and then Ross was doing his opening gambits, and he was very good at crowd work. And then this guy just pipes up and just goes, darling, we have with us tonight the #1 film director in all of Paraguay. And Ross just sort of ran with it because it was really good. And he went, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're amongst royalty this evening. One of South America's finest. And then that guy, it wasn't even the guy shouting out. He wasn't shouting out about himself. He was sat with some guy. So we can only presume that this other guy was Paraguayan as well. And then he went up and he had like a sort of Karen wig on before we called it a Karen haircut. And then he had like a sort of green dress. He had a necklace made of Barbie dolls.
What is this bit?
He was wearing a skirt, and then he was wearing Adidas gazelles, but with like Achilles wings stitched on the heel that I think he'd made himself. And then he then proceeded to say a lot of things in broken English because he had a very thick Paraguayan accent. But I didn't know what a Paraguayan accent was until that evening. And so he then is speaking broken English with a very heavy accent, and then kind of chuckles to himself, looks at the floor as he's doing this material that's not really material, and then danced to his own rendition of Like a Virgin by Madonna. And then I had to follow that guy. And then
Yeah.
Wait, you had to follow him as the MC or just as the comic?
No, as the next act.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what you were planning on doing, you have to now spend all the time basically talking about that and being like, does everybody...
just kind of, it's like when you've got like crumbs in the tub of butter and you just have to kind of like we don't need to see that. Let's just smooth that over.
Well, we just have to deal with this real quick and either rub that in to what I'm about to, or scrape it off and throw that away.
Correct. Well, I would. Yeah, no, you have to address it. You definitely have to address it.
You do. And it was just like, but it was so. And this is the point. Yeah, you have to react to it. and then you're there going like that was, I think that was the moment I learned. There's you actually want the guy in front of you to do well. Like this,
You
and
should
it's
cheer for
very
other comics.
counterintuitive.
Yeah, you should cheer
Absolutely,
for
you
other
want
comics,
them to do
yeah.
well.
That's something
Because
that
then
gets
the
lost
audience
for
is
some reason.
warm.
Yeah,
It really does, because you look at them as your competition.
You know
Like,
what's
when
funny,
you're-
Ben? I never looked. That was the thing. I was stupid. I tell. I don't know if I told Derek this, but Ben and I've talked about this before. But I went into comedy for the wrong reasons, because like I wanted to be funny, and that's the wrong reason to get into stand-up comedy. And so I never thought. I always thought,
when you say you wanted to be funny, like you wanted to be that guy, you wanted that to be your identity.
I wanted to be a good stand-up comedian, because I really did truly love I really like. I can do. So I got to. I've had a chance to meet some cool comics, but like I met Nashville, Tennessee, real smart, real funny guy, simple comedian, gray hair. What's his name? Good God, Hank,
Nate Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze. I was in the green room.
Oh,
with
is that
Nate
right?
Bargatze. Yeah, it was in the, that's it. There was a green room. With Nate Bargatze fucking nailed it.
Nailed it.
Fucking nailed it. Fucking, but
that is.
See, that's what I told you, right? Sharp. Don't let him fool you. So Bargatze, he's in the green room. He's, if you're with someone as big as him, I don't know what it is, this weird thing with bigger names. They try to like big time you, and it's like, bro, I'm like just a scrub. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to me, you're my hero, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like you. Like, you don't like, but he was mean in the beginning, and then I started doing his bits. Like, I was like, oh, I really like when you do this. And then I started naming the titles of his his CD, like of each track of his set. And then I saw like a change. He was like, I think this guy actually really likes me. And then and then it was a different dynamic. I was like, even the way that you named, like, because it was funny. Like, he had his second record. The name of each track was just him having a conversation with his daughter, which is very funny. Like, he was like, hey, I have to name the first line. The first name of the track is, I have to name the tracks for the record. The one we did in New York. No, you can't have M&Ms right now. Like, it was very good. It was very fun. It was very cute, right? And that's like, I think he realized, like, that's the sort of like attention that only someone who really like cares about your shit and about. I mean, for me, I cared about comedy in general. Would like care to remember. So go on. Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying that's what Chris Rock should have done to Will Smith. Is like fucking sit down and be like, I really like that movie. And you were in I Am Legend, and you sat down with the dog. That was a really good scene. And you didn't have any music in that, so it was really hard. And then just make him feel fucking terrible. Oh shit, Chris Rock's a big fan. Probably shouldn't have been such a piece of shit.
But that's the thing. I still don't understand that. That's why I think I gravitated towards Derek, because I was like, Derek was just nice, and that was like so refreshing. At that point,
no, I was the same.
Hell pit of the places like I'd perform, there'd be all these like people who were just angry, and I was like,
it's like walking into a boxing gym.
I'm a dumb Labrador. I'm just like, I just want to make friends. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, no, but I think the reason that the reason you then ascended is because you didn't lose that, like. Because this is what you were talking about earlier, Derek. Like, if you're good at sending and receiving emails, like the other thing is if you're good at being liked by people when you're not on stage, because it's like if people are willing to give you a chance. Like, I remember going to gigs like all around the Midlands and stuff, because I went to university in the Midlands. Which
now explain your stupid Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings universe.
Oh yeah, shit. Okay, so like in bearing in mind, to Americans this is going to be nothing. Like, it's going to mean fucking nothing. The distances that I'm talking about, but it's like. I think it's because in Britain, I think it's like 1 in 8 people, 1 in 9 people live in London, in the whole country. So, and I did comedy in London on the London circuit a lot, and there is a bit of and I thought it was a bit of a joke, like from outside London, like, the London comics think they're hot shit. Until I went to a gig in the Midlands where one of my London comics friends was performing to support him. And I just went behind in the green room and was just chatting to all the acts and just getting to know them. Like, hey, how long have you done it? What do you like to talk about? Really excited for your set, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just, I don't know, speaking to people like they were humans. And then he went like, oh, you're really good at that. And it's like, good at what? And he goes like, speaking to people like that, like, do you not think like, well, I'm a London comic, so it doesn't really matter? I was like, no, I actually don't. I don't think that because I don't think I'm very good. I don't. And then he was there going like, oh, I do. I'm just sitting there like, yeah, well, I'm the London comic on the bill, so whatever. And that was really weird to me because it was just like, but what about before you had a name? Because, you know, he had a name that was recognized by promoters. It's like, I can't afford to be like that because nobody will fucking book me because nobody knows who I am. I want to speak to people, A, because I want to get to know them, but also, B, they're going to be able to, if they recognize my name for any reason, doesn't need to be comedic, they can go like, oh yeah, this guy does stand up. Have we got an open spot? Yeah, let's chuck him in there. And that to me, hearing you say that just now, Baz, explains why you ascended the world of comedy as swiftly as you did, is because you figured out what some people never do, which is they're not your competition. It's a very weird environment because it is competitive, but in that moment, it's a very competitive industry, but in that moment when you're performing and you're behind the curtain and you're all waiting for your set, they're not your competition. You are actually a collaborative effort at that point because you want to all have a good gig, and that is dependent on each other. I don't know why I've gone all bleeding heart.
I think that's a good attitude. I just didn't meet a lot of, you know, I mean, professionals.
Well, you had it though. You're from the sounds of things, you had it.
Professionals behaved, right? Like professionals knew how to behave. Open mic comics are basically just feral animals, and a lot of them are. And but like even for like local shows, you'd see people like, I don't know, man. I was always excited to see people's sets, even if I'd already seen them, because like I just liked seeing them. Like I was at the Lodge every Friday for like almost 2 years. Every Friday I was at the Lodge. I was there.
I can say that because I was there. And,
I knew those jokes. I knew Ricky's. I knew what people would do in certain situations, and I knew it. Like I knew it, but I still went because I don't know. I loved it that much, and it was just so weird to me that people didn't cheer for each other. Or like they didn't realize there are like multiple ways you can like achieve success, or like, hey, the world's pretty big. There's room enough for all of us. Like it's like if you want to be at the tippity top, okay, cool, man. But if you want to just like, you know, do what you love and make a living from it, God, there's so many spots. I think. Yeah. I think, and especially in this day and age now, where you can make your own spot now. Like I wish, like if I did comedy again, Derek, I would do open mics to make sure I was writing good jokes, but I wouldn't give a fuck about who. Like I don't care if JFL calls me. I don't give a fuck if I'm on this show or that show. I'm gonna just put my shit up on YouTube, get as many good cuts as I can, and build my own audience by myself. You know, I know guys who've turned down new faces because they already have like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Why the fuck would they like? Oh yeah, you're gonna pay me $250 for your stupid little like. Sorry, JFL. Like the landscape. Even then, I knew it was changing.
You're gonna make me fly to Canada, go through customs.
I'll beat you. I'll raise you one.
I'm gonna have to get a phone plan,
Derek,
fucking deal with this thing.
Derek. He lives in their city.
That's even better.
That's bad. He was like, I'm good. He was like, I don't. He lives in Montreal, but he's like, no, the millions. I don't.
Like your neighbor would be like, well, throw your birthday party, and he's like, it's.
I'm busy that night.
Yeah.
I'm not
well, like I wanted to ask as well, Derek, in your like, because I'm brand new to meeting you. I've seen the clips that you sent over to Baz, and that was what got me really excited for this episode. But it was like, I want to know how any of the kind of woke stuff has affected you, like the kind of the scrutiny that comedy's under. Like, so because I kind of got snuffed out by it. One of the things was the pandemic, like open mic stuff dried up with the pandemic, so I couldn't do that. But then it was also like I couldn't do a fucking Zoom gig.
Can we do, before we do that, but I actually want to ask him something because it kind of dovetails into what I was talking about a little bit earlier, and then we can ask this, because I think this is a good question, but it'll be weird if we segue back. And it's just, okay. I wanted to know what Derek thought about that's how I am. I want to know what you thought about post. I mean, because you don't post shit, and
right? Yeah,
you know how I feel about that when you don't do that.
Right.
What does this mean? What does this mean? Not posting shit.
So people post. So now, if you're a comic, a lot of people post their stuff to YouTube. A lot of people post their stuff to TikTok. A lot of comics Andrew Schultz is the name that everyone throws around for this example. Like, if you are, he posted all his stuff and now he has a huge following. What do you feel about that? And why don't the fuck do you post anything, Derek? Why don't you fucking?
Okay. Actually, you know what? I was just listening to a thing talking about this will tie back to the ADD thing. I just heard recently the way ADD brains kind of work is why stimulants help them is because their brains are pretty good at reabsorbing dopamine out of the brain. And you want to get that rush of dopamine when you finish something, you do something, you get that like satisfied feeling. Yeah. But with ADD, you don't always fucking get that. And that means there's no reinforcement of that, So whenever I post, I basically it's like filling out a form. Like, it's just filling out a form and it's hitting send, and I just never feel like doing that.
But Derek, you're funny.
I get
want
it.
you to succeed.
Yeah, I know. I want to succeed, but I can't make my brain feel good about doing that. And then if I just got to sit there and edit a clip and look at it and be like, yep. And then I send it out and it gets nothing. And then
it gets something. You absolute fuckface.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, you're equating it to like sitting in the fucking doctor's office or the DMV.
No, see, it's different because
but this is for you.
But the DMV, you get I get to walk out and I got a card and I'm like, I can drive now. Like, I feel it.
You get
like
something,
I did that.
Derek. You still get something.
You post something, it's just.
What the fuck?
And that's why I think I feel like whenever I'm on stage, I like to write the shit that I'm thinking about right now, and I want to talk about it right now, because I can't pre-plan this because I'm probably going to be I'm going to be over it in a minute.
I'm probably not going to be interested in it in 5 minutes. I get that. Believe me, I do. I have Vyvanse right over there. But
I know Vyvanse is so good.
It's great.
It's kind of expensive.
Speed. It's a bit yes. It's
kind of like speed.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I get it. It's not cheap and hard to come by. I've been told. And so I get it. But Jesus Christ, Derek, what do you think about people doing it? What do you think about other people doing it, at least?
I think it's super smart. Like, in my brain, I know that but this is like, whenever somebody is like, I want to get in shape. And they're like, I'm going to try this special diet. And they're like, you don't need to do that. You just need to, restrict your calories a little bit and then exercise. You need to do both of them. And everybody's like, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen. It's so boring to do that way. Don't pick at that pimple. You just need to, put like wash it and leave it alone, and your pores will open back up. Nope, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna squeeze that fucking zit right now because I want that feeling to satisfy me. And sometimes it doesn't pop like that one right there, and it just hurts. It just hurts a ton. You squeeze and then you. Yeah.
Finish the bit. No. Finish. Okay. Yeah. No. Get it all out. Cut it all out.
Baz, you become a coach.
No, I
love it.
Here's the thing. This man, I dislike many people. I don't like. I shouldn't even say that. It's not that I dislike. They're inconsequential to me, right? Like it's like you could get run over. My day would continue. I'd step over the body, move on, right? Like it wouldn't be a thing to me. I love this guy, right? Old Basil, also very different personality. Ben knows me as new Basil. Derek knows old Basil. Old Basil was a very happy, just a Labrador, just ready to kick life in the ass. But new Basil is a bit different. And so I don't like most people. I don't like most comics. I really don't like most comics. I find most of them insufferable, but
it's because you know them personally.
Correct.
That's the wrong way to ingest comedians. It's not on a personal level. It's only like we talked about Bill Cosby. Personally, bad. On album, much better.
Yeah. But this guy is a nice person. And he's good at what he does. And I like it when good things happen to people with talent who are nice. It's a crazy stance, I understand. but it's mine, you see? Yeah. So when I see, all these people I know get famous, I'm like, they're an asshole. Why are they famous? Yeah. Derek should be famous. That's my feeling.
Oh. That's the thing is you can keep hoping for that. I don't know. How do you get? I don't know.
We're just gonna post the clips. We're just gonna post all. I already gave everything to Tyler. I was just like, make this work, please, so I can prove to this person that
Yeah, post them. Man, it's so like
he doesn't understand. He does what?
Like editing.
What did you just
say?
The
trouble is, look, as a young impressionable man in Baz's eyes, Derek, I'm hearing you. Like now I'm sitting there like, fuck, it is like filling out a form.
Yeah, it's not like it is exactly. It is a form.
Also, watching yourself back is a recipe for self-loathing.
Yeah,
like when you sit there and you just go, oh, do you not think, Baz? Like when you watch yourself back when you're editing something, but you watch yourself back and you just go, oh my god, did I really say that? Did I really look like that? Why do I sound like that?
No, I say that
what
was
is that?
That was
Who
bad. That was bad. Don't do that again. And then I move on to the next thing and see if that was good.
No, I can't do it. I was listening to our previous episode and I was like, oh yeah, Baz, yeah, you murdered it there. And then I speak, so, oh, you sicken me. Why are you doing this? What? You want people to listen to this? You can't bear to listen to this. How dare you expect somebody else to want to listen to this?
And I listen to you all the time. So
what is that?
Sorry, I'm just kidding. Go on, Derek. Sorry, Derek.
There's what is it? Adam Driver. Didn't he? He like fucking stormed out of a Terry Gross interview.
But that was so stupid and so over the top and dramatic. That was like some actor bullshit.
Wait, go into that. What happened?
So I guess Adam Driver has a stance that he does not. He doesn't watch his performances. He just never watches them. He doesn't. And he thinks that watching it would affect his performance, which I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll never test it because you're never going to do it anyway. But I guess Terry Gross just decided she was going to play a clip for him while he's on the radio. And as
You know
soon as
Terry
she
Gross,
starts,
that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she starts the clip, and he's at a different studio, and he just gets up and he just walks the fuck out. He's like, "Nope, not gonna do that.
Not
And you're
today,
like,
Terry
okay.
Gross. Yeah.
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 I respect that.
I don't. That's some artistic bullshit. Like, oh God, I didn't hear the sound of my. Blah, blah,
No, but the
blah."
man's got
Like,
principles. If he's known to do it,
you're a performer. Like it's like if someone were
like,
to,
look, what if Will Smith was known to slap people?
that would be very funny.
Would we
That's
would
my
we let him
reaction
off
to
the
that.
hook?
See,
would
he
we go, well,
he's
Chris,
laughing. He's laughing because that was my reaction. It's like that's just very
like,
funny.
Chris, you should have known.
Oh, right. You know what? I don't. I think they would. I think most people would just let him off. Be like, yeah, that's what he does. Because people fucking do that.
Right? Exactly.
For all
We
kinds
would
of
now.
people.
Exactly.
We would
I
in the
hate it.
crazy world we live in.
I hate it. It's
I hate it
you
too.
meet somebody and they bring a friend over, and the friend is a piece
Oh.
of shit, and then you go, "Hey, your friend fucking sucks," and they're like, "I know, he's like that to everybody," and you're like, "That's the worst possible response you could have had."
Why? You don't have to be.
Are you friends with them?
Yeah.
I have this dog, and he bites everybody, but he bites
And
everybody.
That's just what he does. You know,
That-
Well, it's like
indiscriminately.
there's like I've said this before, and I think on a different episode. I don't know if there's an American equivalent in Britain. We have this thing called a spread called Marmite, and
Yeah.
Marmite is famous for being like, you know, you either really like it or you really hate it, and there's no middle ground.
Yeah,
and so then that's led to this expression of somebody will describe themselves as a Marmite person. That is always somebody who is unanimously hated, but they can't confront that within themselves, so they have to resort to, I'm a Marmite person, people either love me or hate me. No. No one loves you if you refer to yourself as a Marmite person, because if somebody loved you, that's who you would focus on. But because everyone in your life hates you, you've had to rationalize that to your poor little self by saying, I'm just a Marmite person.
That I have not heard that, but that is I've tried Marmite, and I understand everybody hates it. Right? Marmite. It's a byproduct of brewing beer, right? It's like the leftover yeast. They just put it.
And we just went, let's put it on toast. Let's try it. Let's try it on toast.
They'll eat anything. I bet they would eat this shit.
Oh yeah.
After they're scraping out the barrel, and plop.
Plop.
But is there an equivalent of that? Like that's so, because it's so true. You talking about that guy, yeah. When somebody goes, when you say, yeah, that guy's a bit of a dick. It's like, oh yeah, he's like that to everyone. It's like, that's not a justification or a rationalization. That's just a sentence. That doesn't help me. What are we going to do about this then?
Right.
I don't know. Like, hopefully things like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Reddit is people coming on there being like, my friend says that I'm an asshole because I did this, and then people being like, your friend is abusing you emotionally. And you're like, oh my God, he is. Thank you.
Yeah. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had that? Like, have you ever met comics? Like, I mean, if you don't want to say their names, it's fine. I'll just ask you their names later. But like, if like, I'll find out. But like, have you ever like met, like, has there ever been someone that's like, oh, I really want to like really like this person, then you meet them and it's like, Jesus, dude, like, how are you still in this business? You never had anyone? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, just people that are just not fun, or you think?
People who
the answer
you
is
like,
yes
or you're
to all of
interested in.
these.
Okay, yeah, I figured.
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
But I don't know if you mean people that I finally meet them off stage. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is good for you. Yes, I've met those people. I've met the people that are, I'm like, oh, I thought you were different, and now I don't. This has ruined the other thing, so now I don't like watching you on stage.
Can you name anyone? No one. Derek's tight-lipped.
No,
yeah, Derek's always
I'm
tight-lipped.
not going to do that.
Yeah, I figured.
And then there's some people where I didn't like them, and then I met them off stage, and I was like, hey, not too bad. I hope they do better on stage. It's I think it's wonderful that the stage and the rest of life just are completely separate, and they're almost they are two different people, and they just happen to have it's a Superman Clark Kent thing. Like it's just you don't
Right.
they're not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I've had
it's
that. I had
incredible.
a girl. I used to do that voice, that fucking voice, my first year of comedy, and
What fucking give us the voice.
nope. And
Give us the voice.
and
What's the voice?
I
don't know what you
got
mean.
off stage, and this woman approached me. This woman approached me, and she's like, she's like, you don't actually sound like that. And I was like, yeah, because it's called an act. And I just continued about that day, but I didn't realize I'd just been very mean to someone for absolutely no reason.
My God.
Yeah, for no reason. There were
What
comics.
was this fucking voice?
Don't worry about it. And so.
No, I want to know. No. Fuck this. I want to know. What is this voice? You can't call it the voice.
I just did this
and
like
assume that
nerdy.
everyone knows.
I just did this nerdy fucking. Like I leaned into the this is my comedic experience summarized in just one like event. I wanted to be on a show on Netflix, and I sent pictures for 2 roles. I don't know if I've told you this story before, Ben. Derek, I know I haven't. I sent pictures. I sent portfolio with like 2 for 2 roles. Yeah, with headshots for 2 roles. One was for handsome hipster dude, and then the other was a comic book. I think it was handsome comic book owner, and handsome hipster dude, which I was really hoping I'd get that, just for my own ego, and that did not. I got no callback on that one. Comic book owner dude. I want to say 5 minutes. I got a call.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Are you Basil? Yeah. Did you just email us? Yeah. Come on down on Thursday.
Yeah.
We'd love to talk to you. Yeah.
I'm wondering if they they weren't getting a lot of that one, and they were just like somebody emailed into the one. Oh God! You better get him in here now.
Just to the ego. Just I was just like, I'm not a nerd, you guys. All right, but no, that was what people saw me as. That's probably what people still see me as. The glasses don't help. My persona doesn't help. And my general personality probably doesn't help. But I wanted to be handsome hipster guy. He seemed so much cooler than comic book store owner. But no, it was alas. So I did the whole voice thing, and I was mean to this lady. Other comics found it very funny for whatever reason. But yeah, it was all it was a whole thing. I don't know if I could do that voice now. If I did comedy now, I would use a completely different approach, and I don't think I would even do comedy in the normal sets of places. Kind of like where you were getting at to earlier, Ben. Like I don't know. I know you, Derek. You keep your head out of things a lot. Mm-hmm. But have you watched any sort of like what are your thoughts? Have you ever described your thoughts on cancel culture or anything like that in comedy?
Well, I think I every time. Well, I think every I don't know 10, 20 years, I feel like a new thing becomes
emerges
acceptable. Like in 1970, it was like, well, I can't make fun of black people now, and you're like, no, you can't. And if you do, then you're not going to get to go on the rest of the shows. And they're like, fine. And there are some things like, I don't know. I guess I feel like people say cancel, but I don't know who's getting canceled. Like Wait, there was one lady that fat Southern lady,
Roseanne?
Paula Dean. Oh no, and Roseanne.
Okay. Okay. You're a piece of
Paula
shit. for that
Dean
one.
said the N-word a bunch, and they're like, "Yeah, you don't get to be famous and be. You're too." I feel like the South came together and was like, "This is just a bad look all around. We're just gonna scoop her. We're gonna keep her cookbook, but we don't need her out, reminding everybody what we do."
Here's the thing about that.
Okay.
Niggas did not co-sign that, and I say that, and I know that because we were perfectly fine with the food. We were like, no,
Right. That's what I'm saying. I
we
think
didn't co-sign
I
that.
felt like it was. I feel like it was the white people from the South that were like,
Yeah,
no,
maybe not.
this-
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
think so, Derek? You think it was a precautionary measure?
yeah, I do. I think it was
Right.
like you're
The whites
if-
just went, look, we're gonna play it safe. We're just gonna give you a timeout.
Let's get Grandpa into the car. Let's just get Grandpa into the car. He's old. He's very old.
He's from a different time. Yeah.
He's from a different time. He's like this to everyone.
Bro, but if you make cake really good cake, you can call me the N-word. I'm fine with I would probably wouldn't even notice. I wouldn't notice
Yeah.
because I'd be too delighted by the cake. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be.
I mean,
It's delicious,
yeah.
and she's
You
good
still make-
at making cake.
get
really
it.
good.
but I don't think she needs a TV show.
Fair.
Because we got a fuck ton of people. Like that's also the thing. It's like we cancel people that get old. I mean, they get ugly. You remember what's his name? The fucking he was Alfie and Jude Law. Jude Law.
Yeah,
He started going bald.
Right.
He didn't
Yeah.
fucking show up in any movies for a while, and then he
Yeah.
came back, and now he's a bad guy because he's kind of ugly. He kind of got ugly. He was a fucking leading man.
Wait.
They
But to be
plastered his
fair,
picture everywhere, and they're like, "This is the fucking sexiest man alive." And it's like, hairline went back, and it's like, you know what?
Ew,
No.
yeah.
yeah.
but I wouldn't call that's not cancelled. That's just like shifted.
Life.
Like he's still getting booked. But it's like I know what you mean, and this is the thing in the cancel culture debate. Like Baz and I did a whole episode about it where we sort of went into it because it's like, yes, of course, no one is literally being deleted like
right.
Sims. But it's like you have gone.
Oh, like Alex Jones, he got deplatformed from a lot of places.
Right.
Yeah. Which
And in
Yeah.
in the modern world, like the reason why that gets dubbed cancelling is because he doesn't have the same ability to play anymore like everyone else does. And
Right.
because like the reason why I bring this up is like because the thing that concerns me, because I see it a lot in Britain, I don't know about the States. I'm sure it does happen, and it particularly happens in comedy. Like
Derek keeps tight lips. I don't. Don't worry. So I'll say whatever.
right. Well, no. So it's like because basically, I worry that looking back at my time doing stand up, I really loved it, but I almost feel like in a lot of ways I removed myself because I remember I was in Edinburgh. So I've explained this to Baz before. In the UK, it's a much more conveyor belt like setup. You do the open mic circuit. If you're from anywhere but London, you probably are going to move to London. You're then going to build yourself a name on the London circuit. Then you're going to do an hour's show. Then on July the 31st, maybe the 30th, if you're particularly pragmatic, you're going to get on a train. You're going to go to Edinburgh and you're going to do a show for a month at the Edinburgh Fringe. And the whole of London, the London comedy scene emigrates to Edinburgh for a month and then goes home again. And it's all these people in Edinburgh doing reference jokes about London, and nobody in the audience doesn't get it. Everyone in the audience in Scotland understands the material about London. And so it's a very tight-knit community. Everyone knows it. Like there was a woman, I can't remember her bloody name, but she was like the head of some society in Edinburgh. And she literally said in, I think, 2014, 2015, I'm really looking forward to the new woke era of comedy. Like she actually said those words. And now, of course, that's all denied, and it's woke is now a slur used by people to discredit people. And the reason I'm long-winded, but I remember doing a gig, and it was like I was headlining a set, and there was a guy in the audience, and I did a bit about organizing a date via text because texting is just awful, as we've already discussed, not just because of the admin, just it's in general. And then this guy, I said to him, I used to do this bit about, have you ever organized a date over text? And then what did you do to close it out? She said yes. Now what did you do? And he said, get the artichoke, right? And I remember this so vividly. And I was like, has anyone in the audience got the first clue what this guy's talking about? Get the artichoke. And nobody did. And it was all very funny. I went, do you mean eggplant? Like, do you mean like the emoji? Is that what you're talking about? He goes, no, the artichoke. And it was like, okay, right, no idea. And then eventually he went, oh, mate, my girlfriend's French. She'll let me do anything. And it was really funny. And everyone in the audience laughed. It was a real moment. And then blah, 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 set finishes. And this woman then comes back out on to close the show, the MC. And if I knew her name, I'd say it, but I don't remember her name. And rather than close the show normally, thank you all so much for coming, put some money in the bucket at the door, she laid into this guy for like 8 minutes, calling him a misogynist and a racist and a sexist because of what he said about his French girlfriend. And that was my first real, like, oh my God, this exists. Like, I thought this was all shit that I saw on YouTube about people getting eviscerated for, and like, you know, the for sort of outrage. And then from then I was very much like, wow, what did I do that? Did I say something? Because then in the bar afterwards, it was all like, yeah. And then I had other people go to me like, yeah, your material is quite misogynistic, isn't it? Because I would talk about women in nightclubs and how they look when they're really drunk. And it was like, and that was apparently misogynistic. And then I was sitting there going, is it? I just thought it was funny. And that then, that's what I mean. Like, I kind of removed myself after being exposed to those kind of experiences.
Okay. Yeah. That host sounds really bad. Like,
yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was.
I really don't like hosts that go on for a long time after somebody's set talking about what happened in it.
Yeesh.
Like, you're fucking introduced the
Ruining
next
the
person. You
groove.
had your
Yeah.
set. You're fucking done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. So I just feel like that's not. That
You don't think
that
it's
would be
representative?
awful. I don't know if. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that happen. But
Derek's
but
tight-lipped, so let me answer.
I do know that I have had bits that, well, like I used to do it, and then my girlfriend would be like, "Yeah, why do you say that?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, okay, one of the bits I used to do is like, I was like, girls come up to me and do this, and she's like, "Why are you making all females like this?" And I was like, I think it's because I'm afraid of females. And then I use that to explore. I was like, I think
That's
most of
actually
the time
interesting.
I talk to females, what I'm imagining is about to happen is like a situation from like an 80s teen movie where I just get fucking destroyed. And that's what I'm scared. I'm scared the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's dumb because I look like a murderer. And so they're probably very scared. Like, this is two scared people talking to each other in a dark room, and we don't know what we're doing. And I feel like that works better. I don't know. I get really. I don't know what woke is, but if I feel like right now we're redrawing where the fucking lines are,
Right.
And this is going to be fun because now now the lines are all redrawn. We got to fucking find out where they are and start tiptoeing up to them and fucking going over them and referencing other things. I do know a bunch of comics that for a long time would do I'm ironically being racist. I'm glad that line is being moved away because now it's just exposing that they were racist. I was like, a racist would say this. I was like, why are you coming up with so many a racist would say this?
but here's the thing, Derek. I appreciated that. Like, for me personally, I appreciate it because, like, I think Dave Chappelle talks about this in his Mark Twain Prize speech, where he's like, man, sometimes some of these guys were like actually racist, but they were so good at comedy. I appreciated the artistry in the race.
And it's like, yes, he has that bit. I was like, has anybody said something so racist that you weren't even offended? You're just shy. You're like, that was really racist.
yeah. And it's
But
like,
I think what bugs me about it is it's because I agree with you. The lines are being redrawn, and you're right, because then we have people like Andrew Schultz who just absolutely nail it. Like that latest special, Infamous. He talks about everything that you proverbially can't talk about, and he does it very well. But I think because the thing that annoys me about when we talk about things like cancel culture, and you're right, I actually agree with you when we talk about. I use the word woke to basically describe a certain ilk of people. And I more mean their attitude as opposed to their beliefs. I more mean like the radical nature of enforcing what you think on somebody. So to tie that into comedy, it's like I don't want somebody telling me what I can and can't watch or find funny. Like if there's a guy up there who's being abjectly racist, cool, let him perform. I'll decide that he's racist and then I won't go see him again. Like,
right. Okay. I'm with you on this. It's not what they're for. Like, I used to know this guy who was raised fundamentalist Christian. Like,
oh wow,
they were
Right.
they were like the crazy ones, you know, like
fun.
the weird, like you'd get a documentary because they're weird.
right.
But he after when he was like 20, he fucking flipped over, and he is now the exact opposite. He's very liberal and everything, but the way he goes about his beliefs are the exact same way, which makes him total piece of shit because he still has the same fundamentalist attitude. You're fucking like
well, you've just changed it. Now it used to be Jesus, now it's Greta Thunberg. It used to be Armageddon, now it's climate change. Like you've got all you've done is substitute in this stuff.
I see what you're
right.
Hilarious. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I guess for me, and I also get what Ben's at. Derek's very Derek's very tight-lipped. I know this personally. But I will say that I don't know, there are a lot of those people in the Chicago comedy scene. But the thing is like a lot of those people don't do
that was a lot.
Let's get into it. Yeah.
A lot of those people don't do well. Some of them do. But the thing is I don't know, man. This is why I really like this decentralizing of media that's happening right now, because kind of people can sort of pick their own things now, right? So that's
particularly entertainment.
Yeah, and like you were talking about Andrew Schultz earlier, and Schultz only works because when he says the stuff he does, he says he grew up in New York City. And then if you look at his studio, it's like a Benetton ad. It's like every race of persons in there, right? And every type of person's in there. But
right, yeah.
But I don't know if that works for everybody. But I also get what Derek's saying. For me personally, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't do comedy in I don't know, Brooklyn. I wouldn't do comedy in there are certain mics in Chicago that I could do, but man, it's not. There's a particular crowd there, especially in Logan Square and stuff like that. They're like, there's material you just can't work, which sucks because you just can't make like there was this. Who's that? Oh God, he's very funny. Mark Norman. He was working on this joke. He said, and he tried to workshop it around Brooklyn, and he just couldn't do it. He had to literally leave the state so that he could workshop it. And so, I don't know, man. I don't want to sound like one of those guys, like those guys on podcasts, is just like, oh, woke culture's ruining comedy.
Yeah,
right? Like that guy. Yeah. It's like, but also there is a degree to that those people are not making it as fun.
It's definitely fucking with it. I will say that. It's definitely there's a I think everybody and it's I feel like every like 10 years, like either things become, oh, that's boring, you shouldn't talk about that anymore, and now it's becoming like you can't talk about this. But oh man, I feel like comics still like That's all I want to talk about right now. I just want to talk about that one thing. I want to fucking say that one thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It, like when I was doing the fucking coming blood joke, like I wrote down and I knew my family is there, but that's the fucking joke I wanted to tell at that moment,
Right.
and it was
Yeah.
the wrong joke to tell.
But you learned.
No, but I
you
really
learned,
admire
though.
that though, that you but you still said it because it's the joke you wanted to tell, and that's how you cultivate an audience. Because this is what I mean. Like I wanted to do, like, because I just found it hilarious. I still do. The hardest bit is keeping up, because the satire is supposed to be ahead of trend, and it can't fucking keep up. Like I used to do a bit about how there's a campaign group in Australia that want to rename Father's Day Special Person Day, so because it's offensive to people who don't have dads. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Like, and then because a lot of people, like, I'd say this to people and they would immediately go like, "Oh, well, what about Mother's Day?" Which is the typical kind of reactionary thing to do. Because this is what, like, when you talk about the it's the same. Like you said, Baz, you don't want to just come on and go like, "No, the woke's ruining everything." You don't want to do that. But it's like, and that's the thing. What about Mother's Day? What's actually funnier is if you don't have a dad, Father's Day is not about you. Shut up for a day and let people who do like their dad celebrate and enjoy it. Because what I love about that is you're not even involved. Like the reason why that's so funny to me is you're firing, there's a firing line of Father's Day and celebration, and you're over here. You're not even in the firing line. You've moved yourself into the firing line. It's not about you. You're not involved. And then and then you go like, no, you can't celebrate this because I can't join in. It's like, okay, cool. In that case, my parents are divorced, so nobody can celebrate a wedding anniversary anymore because I can't join in. And while we're at it, all the 364 days that it's not my birthday, you can't celebrate any birthdays because I can't join in because it's not about me. And that's good. And then I remember doing that. And then somebody came up to me afterwards and went, the only problem is, because I was in Kensington in London doing that bit, somebody went like, oh, the problem is you said that. And because you're amongst a bunch of what, I don't know what the word he used at the time, but what we would now refer to as, I don't know, woke people, I guess. He went like, you've said that. Oh, there's a, right. Hipster scum. Fine, perfect. We'll go with that. So you're amongst a bunch of hipster scum right now, and you've said there's a campaign group in Australia who want to rename Father's Day Special Person Day, and they've gone, oh, sounds like a good idea. Like they're not they're on board with it. They're not with you.
Right.
That's
yeah.
funny.
I mean, right. That it fucking makes it. On another note, there are reasons to cancel Father's Day. I mean. I feel like
this fucking guy.
Making the baby was the. Oh, I gotta celebrate that you got laid 25 years ago. You fucking. Hey, Dad, high five. You fucked my mom.
like Neo. Neo. He straight into the bit. Just not even a beat skipped. Yeah.
What? I'm just writing that down right now. I mean,
yeah.
Father's Day. No, I didn't know about that. That is really tough because, it's always so tough because when you're joking and nothing is serious, but then when you want to call attention to this fucking thing, then it's like, well, you're not actually being serious, but it's like fucking you're trying to. I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, the other thing is, and this is the other problem that people have with, and I want to get your view on this. This is the other problem that people have, me included, with the idea of, I'll put it in quotes, of cancel culture is that you're absolutely right. Periodically the rules get rewritten.
Yeah.
But what used to happen is the rules were at least equally applied. So, like, for example, this is a very UK-centric story, so I'll try and make it as short as possible. There was a comedian called Jo Brand, very successful female comedian. I can't remember who she was talking about, but it was a politician. And she said he should get battery acid thrown in his face. And it was like, rather than, because I think somebody threw like an egg or something, and she said, oh, next time they should try battery acid or something like that. Right. And so, but then, and that reaction to her from the folks in the mainstream media, as we call it, this sort of ominous term that gets thrown around.
Right.
The folks in the mainstream media, the response was, it's a joke. It's just a joke. Then now with Jeremy Clarkson writes a piece about Meghan Markle saying how he dreams of her being forced to walk through the streets naked while people throw excrement at her. and the response is kill this man. This man should not have a platform. This man should be taken away. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. I actually agreed with you about Joe Brandt. I thought it was an off-color joke to say the guy should have battery acid thrown in his face, but I don't think she shouldn't be allowed to say it. I think she should absolutely be allowed to say it because I know that she's only joking. She doesn't actually want a politician to have fucking acid burns. But to the same degree, I don't actually believe that Clarkson wants Meghan Markle to be doused in excrement by angry members of the public while she's hauled through the streets.
Is Jeremy Clarkson a comedian?
He no, he's not. He's never done it.
question.
He is. That's why people love him, is because he actually has the same cadence and the same capability as a comedian. Like, it's almost, a friend of mine made this point actually years ago. If he said half the stuff he has said publicly on stage, he'd probably be fine. But it's because he says it on a TV show with 200 million viewers in Top Gear that's why it's like you shouldn't say it.
Yes, he's Top Gear.
He's the Top Gear host. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's he wrote it. Oh man, he wrote it down
in a newspaper.
Oh, fuck.
In a newspaper.
This is the fucking angry letter. Like, you might want to sleep on this before you send it in.
Yeah.
And I think also that people don't like politicians, and there are probably a bunch of people that think Meghan Markle is attractive. And when he's like, I dream about this happening to her, and people are like, don't fucking say that. Don't fucking tell me that. That's disgusting. I'm trying to fucking jerk off here. Don't do it. When Meghan Markle, I'm searching for Meghan Markle to do something, and you're saying throw shit at her.
To do something.
Yeah. It is. The battery acid is just so quick, whereas the other one is very. Okay, it's like this. My friend had a basketball coach in high school, and the guy, he would always say, I want to, he was trying to say, you want everybody to get down and kiss your ass, but he didn't want to do that because ass is cursing. So he would say, you want everybody to get down and kiss your anus. And you're like, that's so much fucking sicker when you say anus, because you have to like spread the cheeks, hold a hole.
It's anatomic. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something.
Maybe it's the specificity of it.
Yeah.
But
politicalism.
I don't know. Is Jeremy Clarkson? I don't know. He's
the thing is with me is I don't care like whether when it comes to like comedy anymore or when it comes to comedy now. I don't care if people are woke or whatever. I think, especially with the rise of like alternative markets now, like, let's see whom the market thinks is funny. So that stuff doesn't.
Yes, that's
like,
it.
Like
that's
if,
it.
Like the one mistake I made before I quit, before I left Chicago, was for me personally, I was just weak of spirit. If I had been strong as, I wish I was strong of spirit. I would have like, if I knew now what I knew, I probably would have continued doing comedy, but unfortunately I didn't, and something I wish, and that's something that I'm like, do I want another me to have to go through that? That's how I think of it. Like, I don't want another me, like to like, have to deal with something and then, feel like they can't do comedy, or you know what I mean, or they couldn't do comedy or what have you, especially if they've never done anything wrong. That's a situation I personally kind of want to avoid. But
I mean, yeah, nobody wants. I mean, I guess it's
a lot of people do.
I feel like we're in a really weird place right now because things, because of the interconnection, things can blow up just so fast, and they can get way out of control, and like you can just do some serious fucking damage to somebody, like fucking with very little effort. If you wanted to be an anti-Semite, you used to have to fucking get a printer
You have to work
and get
yeah.
it. You had to,
Right.
you had to get that
You
pamphlet.
have to join the Gestapo. You had to work out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
you had to go. But now it's just boom, and you just
Yeah.
fucking,
Yeah.
you could just be, telling people to hate Jewish people right there, and then a million people see it.
Right.
And so, like with the Alex Jones thing, like he got deplatformed because he was telling people that nobody died at Sandy Hook. And he will say,
That's
"Well, no, I was
different.
debating
That's
it."
different.
Right?
That's different. He's a little. That's an example. Like even he admits, like I got it.
He does.
I think I got out of hand. Yeah, you did get out of hand, Alex.
But it,
you
got
That's what I mean is-
$1.5 billion out of him, and it's going to be more. You got so
But
out of
this is-
hand, your fucking lawyer can't be a lawyer for the next 6 months. That's how bad you were.
But it's like the point being is it's let people make their own decision. Like Baz, you just said it then about the market is like, and the reason I think there's nothing more exemplary than comedy for this, because it's like before I ever held a microphone, before I ever got on a stage, I was a fan of comedy. I was a fan of comedy first. I still am. I always will be. And if somebody came up to me, like, 'cause imagine if it wasn't, put it in a different scenario rather than just being on the internet and being deplatformed. If somebody went up to you at the start of an open mic gig and went, okay, right, the third act, you're probably not going to like him. He's probably really offensive. You'd go, shut the fuck up and let me watch the act. You wouldn't say, oh, okay, then, yeah, don't let him go on. You'd go, no, let me see, and I will make my own decision. And this is the main thing is, and this is what I talk about is when we say woke, but I think about this about all these nomenclatures that get thrown around now. Like, I can't define the alt-right. I can't properly define woke, even though I use that word. I can't properly define, I don't know what QAnon is. I don't know what any of this shit is, because it's become these weird little words where no one's going to define it. No one's got a real pinned down definition. And to me now, I think that's the point, is because then they can just level it at you. Oh, you're alt-right. And then somebody else can go, okay, he's been labeled with that. I don't quite know what that is. So as a safety net, I'm going to steer clear.
Right. Yes. We can do, yes. QAnon is fucking super bananas, by the way.
Go on.
I've listened to some podcasts.
I don't know.
Some of the
I've tried
podcasts
looking it up, but you can't.
I mean, well, that's the thing is, like, it's so crazy that it doesn't, like, as you're reading it, if you can't, like, fucking put it into the real part of your brain, you put it into, like, the fun, weird part of your brain.
Right.
JFK is still alive. What? Why do you think that?
But
JFK Jr. is going to come back and be the vice president.
You have to understand. To Ben listens to these people. For me, like if I'm walking with Ben and a guy comes up, he gives them the credit. This is actually one of the wonderful things about Ben. Also, the horrible things about Ben is he'll be like, no, let's hear him out. That's right, Ben right. To everything. Right, yeah. To everything.
Because like for example, I was on a train and there was a born again lady and I was on the train with my brother and she goes like and then she overheard my brother and I talking that he had an exam coming up, and so she then goes, "Oh, Father, may you bless this boy and wish him all the best in his exam." And I was like, "Oh, thank you very much." And then we got talking, and then I found out that she said she was a born again because she fell over and she didn't know what it was, so it was the Holy Spirit that pushed her over, and that is why she's now born again. And then he's going, and then we get off the train, and I was like, "Yeah, what happened before that?" And she was like, "Oh, I was a drug addict and all this, and now I'm not anymore." And then my brother's going afterwards. We get off at the train station, and he's like, "Why the fuck do you engage these people?" And I'm like, "Well, it might be true. It might be true. Right. The Holy Spirit might have pushed her over, and she's no longer an addict anymore, which is objectively positive. And if she links, like, this is where I have a real struggle with it. It's like one of the big debates, in sort of the culture at large, in many a context, is do the ends justify the means? So it's like, if she's a quack who thinks the Holy Spirit pushed her over when it clearly didn't, and she just tripped over a curb, okay, maybe she's got some screws loose, but she's no longer an addict anymore and her life's going better. So does that then justify, do we then forgive, or let's entertain the fact that maybe the Holy Spirit did push her over? Like,
Okay.
it's a weird thing to do if you're a loving, supreme being, to fucking push someone, like just watch them eat it on the concrete. But maybe it's just a bit of tough love. Well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They know. That's what needed. That was what that person needed. Just shove them over.
Grazed
knees, and that's the first step to recovery.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your favorite special that you've seen? Because I can tell when he's winding down. I can tell. What's your favorite special that you've seen?
My favorite comedy special?
Yeah. Or do you even watch specials anymore?
I mean, I feel like I have. Okay. Can I? Favorite special? Man, I feel like I should have had.
You can't.
I mean,
this is just me asking you what you like, Derek. You can't. I know you know a lot of these people, but you can say.
Oh man, I mean, I think one of the best. I think Killing Them Softly is probably like one of the best fucking specials ever. It's just so good. Yeah. Or it was one of the Dave Chappelle ones. Those are fucking. They're amazing. Yeah. The one where he does the microphone jizz matrix reference is very good. It's so. But
what is it?
Nobody can do that now.
What is it with you?
I
watched. Let me hang on. He sent me hours with. I watched all of it. I watched all of his material, and I was the one thing I was like, I gotta ask him, what is it with him and penis? Like it is a constant.
I find penises to be
right
something that nobody's a huge fan of. Nobody gets offended.
Right.
Or, everybody likes theirs, or maybe like one or two others, but the rest of them, fucking keep them out of here. I don't like them. I don't like them. And it's
what are
just
the one or two others, Derek.
Yeah.
What are the one or two others?
And everybody, and that's the thing is also guys think about their dicks all the time. They talk about them like they're so big, and they're not. They're very, very small. I mean, like it's hours. You can hide it in your hand. It's not a big deal.
You can hide it in your I watched your CYSK Comedians You Should Know. Shout out to Marty. I watched one of your 1 hours, and I was just like, man, I didn't realize how much Derek talked about dick. Like I'd never come. It never, and
don't say that.
I know. Mike set him off. For lack of a better term, it just never came to me. Like it never occurred to me. Like,
well, you know what? When I was early on, like when I first moved to Chicago, I came back and my friend was doing a show with. He set up a show for Kyle Kinane at our bar that we.
Amazing.
And my friend made like a poster and my name is on it, and he Kyle signed it, and he actually wrote Kyle Kinane, talk about your dick more. Talk about yo dick mo. That's what it wrote on there. So I don't know why I talk about him all the time. I'm trying to get down what is the thing about penises. They ruin people's days.
True. Yeah.
But if you saw a dick right now, you would just be like, fucking didn't like that.
Well, I'm kind of a man of science, so I would just wonder why anatomically, like science, why is there suddenly a penis just hovering?
Yeah.
Like, is there a reason for this? Is this a sign, perhaps?
Yeah. How do I avoid this in the future?
Right. I'm planning.
Did I make it happen?
But that's why I was really popular with people with autism when I did comedy, because that makes sense. That was true. I wish that was a joke. Because like they were like
what did you do? Hey, isn't it crazy when somebody moves that chair and the room feels different?
no, I don't think I ever told you this, Derek. Like there was I don't remember what association. I gotta forward you this email. It was some association in Chicago, and they were like, hey, they were a foundation for autism, and they were like, you want to come up as one of our autistic comedians or comedians with autism? And I had to write them back.
Yeah.
I didn't write. Yeah, I just
make it assumption.
I just wrote a sentence. I wrote a sentence I never thought I would ever have to write in my life, which was like, I'm sorry to inform you, but to tell you this, but I actually don't suffer from autism.
That's
no response. No response.
That is amazing.
No response.
Because they are probably looking at him going, this guy, poor guy, doesn't even know yet.
He has no idea. No clue.
Yeah. The same with when the religious person is talking to you on the train. It's like, Jesus is the thing that's going to save you. It's going to fix your day. Yeah. And then the person with autism is like, you have autism because that's my problem. And then right after I got ADD, I was walking around telling everybody, it's like, you got to get Adderall. You got to get on it. It's going to fix your life. You are a fucking mess. Get on Adderall and you will do your dishes. You know?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's the bit that I love about that story from Baz is that I don't think that's a sentence that any other humans ever had to utter.
I've never said.
Sorry, I'm not autistic. Sorry.
Well, because I didn't want to be rude, they invited me. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were like, and they're gonna pay. They were gonna like, you want to host the show? I even asked Marty about it. I was like, how much should I get? Because it was my first time. I was like, how much for a hosting? Should I charge for a hosting show? And Marty gave this outrageous number, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna tell them that. And so I was just like, you know what? I don't even have autism. I don't know why we're having this conversation. So, yeah,
that was. Would you still have their email?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like you should print that one out.
I know. I've thought about it. I've thought about it, but I was like, I don't think that person's name, or I guess I could redact there. Like, I don't want that associated. You know, they're doing good work. Like, I don't want to fucking.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that same week, I started dating a girl whose specialty was autism in young men. Like the same week, like that happened.
What did she say?
She didn't. I didn't tell her because I broke up with her immediately. I was like, I don't think we could do this. Like, there's too many.
You're
signs. This is
everybody's trying to tell me.
I don't need another ad hominem diagnosis.
Like, I'm good.
I'm
good. Like, if this is a sign from the universe, I don't want to hear it. So I got rid of it.
Did you ever tell her? Did you ever tell her about the email? Like when you went,
she has no idea.
Darling, I emailed this place. I said, sorry, I don't have autism. So, did they receive it already? Can we amend that? Can we?
No. The worst part is things were going so well with her too. Like things were going really great, but I was just like, I can't.
Yeah.
And do you know what's crazy about that? Is that something an autistic person would do? I
feel like they don't. I don't know. I don't know. They. I mean, I don't know. I don't. What groups do you resonate with? Like Derek, you're fucking huge and look like a mountain. Yeah. Like for me, I resonated with like frat boys for some reason, and I never understood why. Because like they liked me. I should say I didn't resonate. They liked me, and I was like, "Aren't you my natural predator?" But like they liked me for some reason, and then like sorority girls. But I don't who knows with them. There's a bit that you do that I really like where you're like, oh, I used to think only dumb pretty girls talk to, or pretty girls. What is it? I used to think pretty girls were dumb.
I thought but no, I just realized it was the ones that talked to me.
Same thing. So same.
Everybody
thing.
else walks away.
Exactly.
Because they know not to talk to me.
Exactly. So same thing. And then so the sorority, like whatever, like white women, and then just like people who suffered from like just like high functioning autism, like or Asperger's, or they fucking love them to me, man. They're like, I really get your stuff, and I was like, this is really worrying for me personally.
No.
But like, thank you.
That,
But like, I appreciate it.
that is a dedicated fan base right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
They'll tell people.
They're never missing a show.
correct. Yeah.
They're gonna tell everybody. Yeah.
No, I'm in all seriousness, super nice. It's why I have a soft spot for people with Asperger's. I also work as a software engineer, so that's pretty much my whole day. Anyways, so anyways, where were we going? I forgot. I lost my train of thought. The point is, I don't know. We've taken your time for like 2.5 hours. We've gone Joe Rogan levels on this. You didn't even answer the question. What you like? What your favorite special has been lately?
I mean,
Killing them softly.
Oh, Killing Us Softly.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You did.
Yeah.
Okay. Never
So
mind.
you weren't actually listening.
No,
Basil.
I was. It's just I usually expect a song to dance with Derek. So
You're pushing the blame.
No,
Look, this is
I
exactly
remember-
what happened with Ukraine.
yeah.
I remember now. I remember who
Yeah.
like one of my favorite comics, Dana Gould. Dana
Gould's
Gould.
great. Yeah.
Oh my God. I want to pull up the album. It's fucking incredible. It's the first of all, yeah, if you can listen to I Know It's Wrong. That one's really good.
It's very good.
And also Funhouse, his
Also very
album
good.
from '98. It ends with him doing an a cappella Morrissey song that he wrote. He's singing Morrissey from the Smiths a cappella, and it's
so
the
good.
quintessential.
It's so
and
good.
that song is called Clown Fucker. It's just amazing. If you can, check it out. Clown
good.
Fucker is incredible. Also, the Black Dahlia joke is one of my favorite jokes of all time.
Go check out
it
Data
is-
Gold. Check out also Derek. So Derek, I want to just ask, like, I know you hate doing this bit. I know you do, but I think about it all the time.
Okay.
Can you please do the Laffy Taffy bit? Can you please do?
Laffy Taffy.
Do you remember
Oh, that you know what we were talking about? My friend who he has a joke that he hates doing because it's the first joke he ever wrote and it never fails. It's the I started writing jokes when I was 7 years old and I submitted them to Laffy Taffy people and they rejected me, which is dumb because they're awesome. You know, what kind of money do pickles use? Dildo. See, that's funny. You know, for a 7-year-old, that's great.
Yeah.
What kind of secrets do vaginas keep? I can't say. See, I said cunt in there. And then what did the sewing machine say to the typewriter when the typewriter asked him out on a joke? You're so not my type. Fuck face. Okay, that one was just dirty, and I get it. It works every time, and
I don't know why I like this joke.
I know he does it only when he's taken an audience into a place where they fucking hate him. He said all these things they don't like. And then you can use the Laffy Taffy jokes to come right back to, hey, everybody's having a good time. Saves them.
The first
Brad
time
Chad Porter.
Jet Porter. Okay.
All
right.
Brad Chad Porter.
Brad Chad Porter. Shout out to you, Brad. That joke has made me laugh on so many. I've thought about that joke in the shower so many times. So many times. Derek, God, I love you, man. I miss you.
Man.
This was so much fun. Thank you for giving us so much of your day. I don't know about you, Ben, but it's been a while since I've had this much fun with a guest.
Oh man,
it's been so
Derek,
good.
take advantage of our 52 subscribers and tell people where they can find you, social media, where they can find like any upcoming gigs in Chicago.
Right.
What do people need to know
Yes.
to find you?
Where can they find you so that you don't update them on where you are or where you're touring?
Right.
Where you're touring. That's the important part. Is not telling.
You
them.
can follow me on Twitter, and it will not affect your life in one bit. You can check me out on Instagram, and that will not affect you at all. You can follow me. Is it Derek Smith Comedy or Comic? You know, that's me. I should have gotten a different name because this is not a good one.
It's a beautiful poster. You shut your fucking face up. We're gonna post a bunch of Derek's shit because he let us, and it's amazing. And I want everyone to know how amazing he is. And we'll post links to his socials there. And Derek, I'll talk to you later about getting some contacts, so when people like you, they can reach out to you. So
Yeah,
thank you, Derek.
Hey, yeah, you can just fucking tweet me. And maybe I'll respond. Who knows?
You haven't tweeted.
I've got 7 cats now,
since
so I'm. Did I tell you I have 7 cats now?
You did.
What?
You did.
Yeah. These fucking cats keep having cats in the backyard, and I keep saving them because it gets really cold, and so we let them in, and then you like them, and you can't fucking just tell them to fucking go because I feel like a monster. They're also feral, and so they don't make any noise, and they're fucking quiet as fuck. Anyway.
I'm gonna check when you last tweeted, Derek. Give me just a second.
Man.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Derek Smith Comedy. Just so that anyone who's still here know, the last time Derek Smith posted something, it was 2018. Okay, so if you want to get to know Derek, just reach out to me, and I'll get.
That was such a different time.
If you want to book him for a show, I'll get him. I'll fucking get you to him.
Yeah,
that's what we'll do with that.
Oh,
thanks,
man.
buddy.
I got a show coming up.
Where's the next show?
The January 21st.
Where at?
Vanessa House Brewing in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Awesome. And how many
for that one member of our audience that turns up at that show because they happen to live in Oklahoma? Well done. You.
It'll be a good use of your night.
You're a real one.
You know Basil? I'll be like, I do know him. You know? I don't know Ben as well, but I'm gonna get to know him.
You haven't upset me once throughout this podcast.
Oh man, thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on.
buddy.
That was an absolute
That was
riot.
fun.
My cheeks, I feel like I've been in a fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's the best.
This is great.
And
you guys are the best. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Thanks for coming on.
And if you ever need me again, let me know.
Would love to have you.
Oh,
Any
without
freaking
a
time.
moment's hesitation.